Hello there and welcome back to another video, and now we're going to be looking at the Bundesliga and giving a little bit of a roundup of what has happened there this weekend, and it was action packed for the majority of it as well. Very few, there is very few boring games in the Bundesliga, to be fair. Now we're looking at the table right now. Obviously Bayern Munich still 4 points ahead. They put on a very good performance against Eintracht Frankfurt, winning 5-2. Dortmund are still right there as well. Leipzig finally got themselves a win, which is what they needed. Yes, it was against a team that's 15th in the league in Mainz, and it was a very convincing win as well. But they needed it badly because they would have actually been out of the top four at this point before that game as well, actually. So that's actually something that they really needed, with Leverkusen picking up the wins that they need as well. Mönchengladbach are still there, even though they didn't pick up a win either. These are the major threats to Leipzig and the Champions League places as well. That is probably going to be their priority now. It's very difficult, apart from maybe Dortmund, for anyone to catch Bayern Munich. Munich don't seem to be letting off the gas at all at the moment. Things look a little bit bleak for Paderborn and Werder Bremen in terms of actually getting out of the bottom two. Now, their bottom three works a little bit different from what I understand as well. Guaranteed relegation is 17th and 18th place. 16th is a relegation playoff. Now, I don't know if there's something with Bundesliga 2, the league that's below the Bundesliga, where they do a playoff with maybe a promotion chasing team, and that decides who goes up and who stays down, or if Dusseldorf, if they won that game, they would stay in the Bundesliga and the team that was trying to come up would stay in. I don't know if that's how that works. If someone can let me know, that'd be great. But I think that's kind of how it works anyway. That's actually a playoff spot. It's not guaranteed relegation. Obviously, there's only 18 teams in the Bundesliga as well. But let's have a look at some of the, results. So the results, we go from Friday, Hertha Berlin in the Berlin derby against Union Berlin. I think they're actually quite close to each other, or they were. They are quite close to each other as well. So for it to be a 4-0 win to Hertha Berlin was nothing. It surprised me, to be honest. I actually thought it was going to be a tighter game because of how close they were. And it actually leans into something I was talking about when I made my video from this morning, whether, about fitness levels and things like that and being prepared to come back as a football league in terms of the Premier League. Are these results something that would normally happen? So in normal circumstances, in a normal season, would Hertha Berlin beat Union Berlin 4-0? Is that something that would normally happen? And again, I can look at this as well with some other teams. Leipzig, I can say that would happen. The 5-0 against Mainz would happen because in the previous fixture, apparently, RB Leipzig beat them 8-0. So, I mean, it's one of those things for sure, isn't it? Augsburg, would they have beat Schalke 3-0? Well, apparently Schalke have really fallen off a cliff recently, and they're not doing too good either. And results like 5-2 against Frankfurt, is that something that would normally happen under normal circumstances? I'm not entirely sure. I don't think that they're there aren't many anomalies, to be fair. I think most of these, yes, there's some high-scoring games, for sure, but I don't think that there's anything out of the ordinary from what I can tell anyway. But yeah, so they kicked off the Bundesliga on Friday, and it was a very good win for them as well. Bayern Munich, again, They've come up trumps again. I think the last game they played was against Union Berlin. I think that's maybe why I thought Union Berlin would maybe do a little bit better against Hertha Berlin, because they'd actually, they'd only lost 2-0 against Bayern Munich, but they didn't look too bad in that game either. That's just my opinion anyway. But hey, never mind. They comfortably beat Eintracht Frankfurt 5-2, and it was, again, I think if we go in and we look at, if we can look at the stats, if the page will let me, it will not let me. It is not there. Never mind. But anyway, pretty sure if we go in and look at it, you're going to see Bayern Munich have controlled the game. They will have got most of the possession, most of the chances as well. Probably quite comprehensive as well. Eintracht Frankfurt, I can't remember if they are the team that knocked Arsenal out the Europa League. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I've seen them play this season before. But hey, It's one of them. They got 2 goals, but they just can't overturn the giant that is Bayern Munich. Borussia Dortmund against Wolfsburg. They will let me see this. Thank you very much. All right, yeah, there was a red card in there, but it was late on. Hakimi and Guerrero, obviously no Erling Haaland on the score sheet this time. But I do believe that this was the game that got Jadon Sancho up to 30 goals and assists, like in total, like together for the season, which is just ridiculous. Like that, those are some ridiculous numbers by Sancho. Really impressive display as well. Again, dominant in possession. The 2 shots they had on target, 2 goals that went in. And not necessarily the 2 people that you would expect would have been the people that put it in the back of the net. But this is the juggernaut and the team that is Borussia Dortmund. Like they just, I don't know. I'm pretty sure anyone in this team, bar maybe a couple, if anything, but I'm pretty sure most people in this team would score goals. I really do. And Wolfsburg, I only ever remember Wolfsburg from years ago when they had Kevin De Bruyne when he got sold from Chelsea, and I don't know whether they've really got the power to go up against a Dortmund. I'm not sure that they're I don't think that they're a very bad team. But where are they in the table? I mean, they're 6th, so they're not doing too badly, and they've just come up against a very powerful Dortmund team as it is at the moment. So I don't know whether they could probably take that one on the chin. Maybe they would have thought they'd done a little bit better, but it's just one of those. I think this is the only draw of the weekend was Paderborn versus Hoffenheim, which is actually probably big for Paderborn being bottom of the table. So that's actually probably a big one for them against Hoffenheim. Not too bad at all. You can't really complain. If you're bottom of the table and you're like trying to pick up points, yes, victories are definitely the better thing to get, obviously. But to pick up a draw is nothing, you can't, you would take it over a loss. Werder Bremen beat Freiburg 1-0, who Werder Bremen, Werder Bremen 1-0. That's actually good for Werder Bremen. It actually takes them a little bit closer to possibly getting out of the relegation zone, or the actual guaranteed relegation zone anyway. So they'll be very, very happy with that, I'm sure. We come to Bayer Leverkusen, which is the team that I'm looking at and the team that I'm following as well. And Kai Havertz, man. Kai Havertz is just... He's very, very good. He is very, very good. He's 20 years old. I didn't realise, I think I maybe realised this in a video like last week or something, that I didn't realise that at 20 years old, he's the captain of Leverkusen, which is absolutely brilliant. But again, you see another team where they've had the majority of the possession, they haven't had the majority of shots, but they've had more on target, and they just seem to be able to create. They seem like a very creative team. Against Mönchengladbach, who, again, are not a team to be taken lightly. They are right behind them. They're a point behind them. So this would have been a 5th and 4th place sort of, not decider, obviously, because the season's not over, but it's a big one for Leverkusen to get themselves through, to win 3-1, score a couple of goals. Havertz, again, he just looked magnificent. He was absolutely fantastic. And anyone who is a Premier League fan that's watching the Bundesliga right now is looking at players like Kai Havertz and such like that, because he's such a physical presence. He's like 6'2" or something like that. He's good with both feet. He's a good penalty taker. He's good in the air. He's got good pace as well. He's no slouch in terms of pace. People will be looking at someone like that and thinking he's a very good all-rounder, with, obviously the scope to get better in all areas as well. And he's only 20 years old. He's got so many years left of development. Whoever manages to, or if he stays at Leverkusen, but whoever manages to pick him up will be getting an absolute gem. And no, that wasn't the only draw. Dusseldorf versus Cologne. I think I did watch this one. It had a weird sort of energy to it. When I say energy to it, it just, like, I don't know, it just didn't seem to have a great deal of energy into it, if you know what I mean. It didn't seem very high-paced, in my opinion. A game that Cologne dominated, and somehow they've managed to... Actually, Cologne were 2-0 down. I think it's one of those things, isn't it? When you've got a team. So let's have a look actually at the table. So Dusseldorf, they will be kicking themselves, being 16th, 2-0 up until the 88th minute, right, against Cologne, who are 10th in the table, so very mid-table. Not much scope for them to really be moving. They're 10 points, ahead of Dusseldorf anyway. But for them to come back in the last 3 minutes of the game and get a 2-2, that's unreal. You have to be feeling really bad about that, to let that go, especially in Dusseldorf's position. Could they have moved? They may have moved and put Mainz in 16th as well, which obviously comes off the back of Leipzig winning 5-0. Timo Werner getting a hat-trick as well. There's not much analysis to do in that game. There really isn't. It was just comprehensive. Leipzig were they were a jackhammer on Mainz in that game. Timo Werner gets himself... Apparently he'd had a little bit of a goal drought as well, but I mean, he was up. People are saying, Timo Werner's doing to Mainz what Suarez used to do to Norwich. And all right, I can see, he scored hat-tricks and stuff like that. Apparently he scored 2 hat-tricks in 2 games against Mainz this season, but it was just comprehensive about for Leipzig against Mainz. So there's not much analysis to go in there. Augsburg versus Schalke. Now, Schalke, I used to think were like a big team, and they may be. I'm not saying that they're not. At all. I'm not saying that they're not a big team or anything like that. Now, Schalke in the table are 8th. Wow. That doesn't look like good form for Schalke. That really doesn't, actually. So, I don't know. We don't get to look at the live form or anything like that. I mean, that's crazy. Look at that possession. That's crazy. This is a game, like, I watched it, and I don't remember the possession being that dominant for Schalke. You can't be that dominant with possession and not score. You can't do that. That is just ridiculous. No one got sent off? Teams, what are the teams looking like for Schalke? I'll be honest, I don't know any of them apart from Caligiuri. Didn't play a very good game in my opinion. McKennie's a young, is he a USA player? Serdar, I've seen the name. Gregoric, I've seen the name again. But no, I don't really know. I don't know if they've got like some sort of... Alright, Salif Sane, I know he's one of the centre-backs as well, didn't play a very good game either. But where are they both in the table? So Augsburg are below Schalke by 4 places as well. You wouldn't have known that. I mean, all right, yeah. Look at that. Is just crazy. Where was it? I've not seen something like that since Liverpool versus Burnley, like 2017 or something like that, where we had 80% possession and lost 2-0. Gross. But that's just crazy numbers. Like, and to have more shots, it's that right there. More shots, 2 on target. That's disgusting, man. I don't mean to use disgusting in that sort of way, but that's just crazy. They had better passing. They had more shots. They had way more possession, and they got beat 3-0. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And as we finish off here, we'll look at the table for one last time. It kind of looks like the top 5 are set in. Whoever, it kind of maybe looks like that 6th spot where Wolfsburg are. It could be up for grabs by maybe not Schalke. I mean, Schalke and Freiburg, in terms of last form of the last 6 games. And Wolfsburg, to be fair, they lost their last game. They don't look like... It looks like that 6th place could be up for grabs if someone wants it. Even Hoffenheim are right there as well. Or whoever. Hertha Berlin don't look like they're in... They look like they're in one of the best forms out of all of those teams. Maybe they could make a late surge for that 6th place. They are only 5 points away from Wolfsburg as it is right now. All they would need is a 2-game turnaround, and they could be right up there. You never know, and that's a Europa League spot as well, I believe it is. Yeah. So, I don't know. Right now, it's exciting to watch. It really is exciting to watch. The top 4 teams, I'd say Gladbach as well, produce very attacking football, very good attacking football as well. Now, I think we get Dortmund versus Bayern Munich coming up as well. So, let me just see if I can take a look at the fixtures coming up. So, tomorrow at 5:30, it's an earlier kickoff, obviously, because it's a very big game in Germany. Der Klassiker, I think that is what they call it. Borussia Dortmund at home to Bayern Munich. You've got some great games coming up as well. These are some really, really good games. Leverkusen versus Wolfsburg, we'll be keeping an eye on that one. Frankfurt, Freiburg, Werder Bremen, Mönchengladbach, so that could be comprehensive. But there's so many good games. And in quick succession as well. Tuesday games, we've got Wednesday games, Friday, back into Saturday, and then Sunday, and then straight back in. Sunday, we've got a game on Monday night. They're keeping the games coming, and I really appreciate it. I'm really glad. I'm really appreciative of other leagues right now as well. So this whole pandemic is probably going to get me to watch other leagues when things go back to whatever normal is, to watch other leagues a bit more often. I think that could actually be a really decent thing as well. Hey, let me know what you think in the comments below of this video. Honestly, it's been a lot of me just rambling through results and stuff like that, and I'm getting to learn a lot about the teams as well. As obviously I've known about like the big two teams, Dortmund and Bayern Munich, and Leverkusen for a little bit as well, RB Leipzig a little bit as well, but learning about the other teams and how they play, as you know, it really is a good learning curve to learn about another league, and I'm really enjoying it. If any of you are watching the Bundesliga for the first time as well, let me know how you feel about it. Are you enjoying it as well? Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you once again, and I'll catch you later.